Time for our weekly conversation with pride of the Jaguars running back Fred Taylor. Week 16. The holidays are upon us. It's a trip to the West Coast to Las Vegas. There's a lot going on, Fred, for a team that's out of it. Like what are they now? 3-11? I've lost
Yeah,
track. Oh
yeah,
man,
yeah.
brutal.
Three left, 3 games left. So we got the Raiders, Titans coach. Yeah. So I mean, it happens. It happens when you're out of it. Everyone's out of it. You, me, the fan base. We're still hoping that they can show face, sort of try and save face a bit as we all prepare. It's the holiday season. There's a whole lot to kind of lose track of. People are prepping for the holidays. You got family visiting, or you're taking trips, all that different stuff. The players are making decisions on what they're going to do at the end of their year because it's over. I mean, quite naturally, it's over. Yeah, we still get to, or they still get to get up for the next opponent, but they know it's over. You want to make sure you finish the season on a high note, be able to check out on your checkout exam healthy if you can get there with these few games remaining. And then you sort of, go through the whole routine of active recovery, the early part of the offseason, the camp, combine, and you kind of sit tight to see what happens. But then the excitement comes back all over again. So that's the next few months.
Fred Taylor with us. As of late, the last recent history, the Jaguars have been bad at every time zone for the most part. But historically, the Jaguars have really struggled on the West Coast. That's
Yeah.
from even back to the 90s. Why
Yeah.
is that? What's the reason behind that?
You know what, JP, I really don't know the answer to that, but I know the times I've traveled west to play. I remember there's one game that won't leave my mind. We were down 21-0 or something to the Chargers when they were in San Diego way back in the day. I remember LaDainian Tomlinson and Turner, who ended up eventually going over to the Falcons. They had monstrous day on us early. I was like, man, that should be me. I was waiting for this matchup, and it just didn't happen. And that was under Jack Del Rio. Uh, I don't, I didn't play much further than that. Like I was injured when we went to Seattle, San Fran. I missed a few West Coast trips. So really, between that game, West, and maybe the Cardinals way back in Tempe. But I think we beat them back then. But either way, we haven't performed well, anywhere further than Texas. And we don't have that many games too. So the numbers will be a little skewed. So what that means is you want to win the ones that you have because they're few and thin. So when you're out there, you want to try to win them. And this is about as good as it gets, in that opportunity because the Raiders are struggling, although they did put up a fight early on in the game versus Atlanta. But eventually, they looked as bad as the Jags have looked of late.
Fred Taylor with us. Yeah, and that's they played on Monday Night Football and they've had their own issues, quarterback
Yeah.
carousel there and everything going on. Max Crosby's out for the season
Yep.
now. So they're right now they're the number one pick in the draft if it were to end today. So that's the matchup coming ahead. Now for the Jaguars perspective, and we talked about this on the post game the other night, the young players getting time and playing well is a
Yep.
good step. We know about Brian Thomas Jr.
Yep.
We know about Brenton Strange, but
Mm-hmm.
Doug Peterson this week's talking about some of the younger guys on defense. DeAndre Prince might get a little bit more time in the secondary, a young guy, a rookie. But that's what this time of year is for now, right? If the head coach is saying it, he's pretty much relegated it. Hey, they still want to win the games, but get those guys out there and get them some time on task. What can that do for the culture of the team when you have guys that have playing experience moving ahead?
You know what? It's the 50-50 ball, right? I mean, you want to try and win, but you also want to see what you can unpack and see who can contribute to the team going forward. Everything right now is a value play. How can we, shave our books a little bit from a business standpoint? They've been making some moves. They paid a lot of money, recently here with the signing of Josh Hines Allen and the quarterback Trevor Lawrence. They brought in Eric Armstead. That was a big check. And they sprinkled a few dollars around that, Tyson Campbell. So they have to really look at their books and see what players are important to them. You're going to have role players, but you want to have a nice mix of young guys in there that can contribute. So now is the best time to see what you have on your plate because you're not going anywhere at this particular point. And again, that's why I call it a 50-50. You're going to win with them or you're going to lose with them. It's all a gamble. You put them out there and you evaluate them, see how they respond, and you really go from there. You're not really hurting your draft stock. That's also a whole nother question. They have time to look at that, as we mentioned in the post game. It doesn't hurt anything. Even if you throw 15 targets to Brian Thomas, let him break the rest of the records and see how he responds. But I think you try and find some sort of identity in the guys that can make plays for you. I like to look at the interior defensive line. Let's see what's there. I don't know why we continue to put Eric Armstead at the end so much. You put him in the interior and let's force the issue there. You got two, top 6 picks at the bookends. Let them do their jobs and create this defensive front, this amazing defensive front that you hope that you had when you signed Armstead. So it's a good time to take a look at all of these guys, but also take a look at your coaching staff as well in the process. See who's still teaching these guys as if you're going out there in a playoff environment or something, and hold everybody accountable. You can't cut any corners.
Fred Taylor with us. We saw all the big plays allowed. We've seen this all year, by the way.
Yeah.
We saw it again last week in the fourth quarter. Devontae Adams goes off, but they're blowing assignments still, and it seems to be they might change a guy out, and an assignment gets blown again.
Yeah.
I mean, what's the solution to all these blown assignments on defense?
It goes back to that accountability thing. And having guys out there with experience, or even the guys that don't have the experience, it comes back down to the classroom. The veterans in those position meetings, they have to make sure that all of their guys are good to go. And the guys can't run from it. The young players, you can't run from it. The thing, what I did best, and yeah, they can say the running back position is one of the easier positions to learn. Yeah, say that until you have a 260-pound linebacker rushing down the center of your chest cavity. You got to figure out how to pick them up, but you got to also know when to pick them up. And so knowing your assignments. And I made sure that every player in my room was good. Like, guys, ask me questions. I'm here. I'm available. I'm going to teach you everything I know. The coaches would put me on the board and allow me an opportunity to lead the meetings. So the players would trust and coaches would trust, but the players would also trust that I knew what I was talking about because I'm delivering the information to make sure that when I'm out there, because I can't play 80 plays a game, right? I want to make sure that the guys that are spelling me or my backups or splitting time with, that we were all on the same page. They knew their stuff. And as a veteran leader, this is what's expected of you. This is what you should do because it's not just about you. It's about the entirety of the team. Each and every group should do that. Wednesdays, all the guys should meet at the leader in that position group's place and just watch film together. Develop that trust, that extra sense of urgency, that camaraderie within your position group. Like, break it down, like the Army. You got infantry, you got, I don't know all the different positions, but you know what I mean. So within a group, you have small groups, right? And that helps the bigger group in the bigger picture. So accountability is where it all starts in terms of not missing assignments.
Fred, we can always count on you. Appreciate the time as always. We got
I
3
can
to
go
go.
I can go for days on this, man. Hey, listen, this is where I'm experienced at, but I don't want to get too long-winded. We'll talk about it another time, like a little fireside chat or something for the fans. Maybe we can do that. at a nice little pub around town, just you and I, kind of like we do in London, and just really Q&A, just chop it up. Obviously, we'll be on the Jaguars dime or something because I ain't got it. I haven't had a contract in years, so yeah. But I like to do that with you, JP.
Let's make it happen at some point. It sounds like a plan. That you already got it fleshed out already.
Hey, it's a good idea, man. I wouldn't mind it.
We'll talk to you, Fred. Thanks.
Get us some sponsors, man. You got all the connects in
I
town.
don't know. You're the one that's got the. You got all the connections. I just work here, man.
Hey, me too.
See you, Fred.
All
Thanks.
right, boss.